Hey, hello again. And so, as everyone's probably aware, the Snyder Cut has finally come out of Justice
Yes.
League. And it's kind of the big topic across the internet. Both of us have seen the Snyder Cut. And so I was going to give our thoughts about it, maybe give a rating. But before we get into
Yes.
the actual Snyder Cut, I thought it'd be kind of cool to do like a short retrospective where we cover the whole Snyderverse so far.
Yes.
So Snyderverse started with Man of Steel. So let's see, what was your opinion of Man of Steel?
I haven't seen Man of Steel in so long. Like, it's kind of I don't remember too much of it, but I remember when I watched it, it was actually pretty decent. It was a pretty decent movie,
Yeah,
especially a Superman movie. What are you trying to like the origins of Superman? I remember it being pretty decent, but like I said, I haven't seen it in a while, so
yeah,
my memory might be a little hazy on it. But
right. So yeah, you haven't seen these movies in a while. I actually watched all of them today,
oh, there we go.
so it's pretty fresh in my mind. But the one thing is, Man of Steel, I did remember anyway because I know these movies are controversial for some people, but I actually really like them. So, Man of Steel is actually probably my favorite superhero movie, like
Oh, there you go.
period of all of them. So, to me, that movie is like close to perfection
Mhm.
because it's what got me interested in Superman. Like, I really didn't care about Superman. I don't even know why I went to see Man of Steel because like I didn't really care that much about the character or anything, but there was something that intrigued me about like the trailers. I always liked the idea of Superman, but I never really cared
Yeah.
for the portrayal, especially not the return of Superman, whatever
Oh, yeah.
Superman is.
Yeah, that was. I remember watching Return of Superman being really bad.
That was terrible. So I went to see Super Man of Steel on the midnight showing, the like 3D one when it first came out, whatever, the Thursday night midnight showing.
Yeah.
It was the first time I ever did a midnight showing, I think. It was the first time I ever did a 3D movie. So it was like weird that I chose that one. And I just remember going to see it, and I just remember coming out of it and absolutely loving it. Like I love the way they portray. I really like the way Zack Snyder portrayed Krypton.
Yeah, that was a
That
good.
was
Those were good, pretty good scenes in that one.
I thought that was awesome because he turned like Krypton, which always in the classic movies was boring. Like Krypton's literally
Yeah,
like this planet of like white crystals, and everybody's just walking around in all white clothes and
yeah,
existing until the planet blows up. Like it was like, what is this place even about? Like,
yeah,
but then Zack's version, he turned it into like some crazy gritty like Star Wars thing with people riding on dragons and stuff, and it was like this is badass. So he actually like created like a world that was interesting.
and that goes back to Zack Snyder is very good at creating worlds. That's for sure.
Yes, yeah, his world building, regardless of what you think about, some of the story or whatever, the world building is great.
Yeah,
I really like Henry Cavill as Superman, so I'm
yeah. Henry Cavill's a good choice on
kind of
Superman. He still
hoping,
is.
yeah, I'm kind of hoping that the rumors that he's no longer going to be Superman are wrong.
Hmm.
Just because you have another Superman doesn't mean it eliminates the other one. It's kind of the point of the multiverse.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like Henry Cavill's Superman. I like the villains in Man of Steel. Like Zod was good. I really like Feora too. Like I think she's very underrated. Yeah, I'd like to see them continue Man of Steel for sure. The music also is great. Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for Man.
oh yeah,
It's like I love the theme, and I mean, of course, the John Williams one is also good, but I really like the Hans Zimmer theme. So yeah, I mean everything just kind of comes together. And I haven't watched Man of Steel in a while, and then I watched it today and was like, oh yeah, I remember why I like this one so much.
yeah.
So I don't know what rate. I mean, I know you haven't seen it in a while, but what general rating would you give Man of Steel?
um, if I like I say, remembering it like just from memory, I remember liking Man of Steel. I'd probably give it at least like a seven,
Okay,
7, 8, maybe.
yeah, 7, 8. That's pretty fair. And
Yeah.
it's a lot fairer than what I'm gonna give it.
Yeah.
Realistically fair, I guess. Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah, that makes sense. Me, like I said, it's like my favorite superhero movie, which is saying something because I like a lot of superhero movies.
Yeah.
Having a rating scale, I have to give it a 10 for me. Like,
10. Oh, there you go.
the top of all superhero movies for me. So, as I said, like yours is a fair rating.
Yeah.
So I guess our combined rating would be like a 8.5 or
Yeah, 8.5 or so. So that's pretty fair for
pretty high,
Man of
yeah.
Steel.
For
I
me.
think I remember. I think remember when it was coming out. Man of Steel. I think that's what like the general consensus was around 8.
Yeah, there's definitely controversy about that movie, primarily the battle at the end.
Oh yeah, that's probably the only spot that
The
people
big
really
divisive
hamper
thing
on.
was Superman kills Zod and the destruction of the city.
Yeah, that was another.
But I would argue against both of those points because first off, the destruction of the city actually is the major plot going forward.
Yeah,
It's not like they ignore it. Like that's literally the plot line for Superman. Killing Zod like was kind of a necessity because Zod
yeah,
was not going to stop. And people that argue why didn't he just pull a Goku and like go to some wasteland or something? Zod wouldn't follow him because Zod basically threatens to kill all the humans on the planet.
yeah,
So it's like if Superman just flies away and be like, "Hey, follow me to the Grand Canyon or something," Zod's just gonna stand there and murder everybody in the city while
yeah. I know. Especially when Zod's like a general too, so he's
yeah.
not gonna be like, "Oh, let me follow you to this place in an
No, why
obvious
would I
trap."
go to your ground? Yeah, ground of your choosing. It's like no. Obviously, you don't want
Like
to
we're
fight.
doing my way.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to fight here, especially given Superman's thing about like saving people or whatever. Like it makes
Yeah,
sense to cause damage in the city.
yeah, where a lot more people can like get killed.
You could distract him more easily in the city. The argument about people not liking Man of Steel because Superman kills Zod, I think is nonsense
Yeah,
because Superman 2, which is obviously the movie that gets compared to Man of Steel because it's basically what it is. Superman 2, not only do they have a big fight in the city, but Superman kills Zod at the end of Superman 2.
yeah,
The difference is that in Man of Steel, Superman is visibly upset by having to kill Zod. Like he does it again. He doesn't want to do it. Zod
but yeah,
forces him to, and he is so like devastated. Like he literally like screams in anguish.
yeah,
And cut to the Richard Donner Superman 2 movie where he swaps powers with Zod. So he gives himself all of the powers of Superman and he takes away all of Zod's powers. So Zod at this point in time is an ordinary human.
Oh, there you go.
So Superman with all of his strength crushes Zod's hand like basically into dust. Like we don't actually see that, but yeah, he pretty much, you hear his bones crunching. So yeah, he takes his hand, basically shatters his bones in his hand, and then just tosses him into an endless abyss.
Yeah.
So that dude's dead. He's
Yeah.
just as dead as Broken Neck Zod, and he like does it with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Like Superman comes off much more like a psychopath in the Richard Donner version.
He has a Superman's a dick moment.
Basically.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I don't think that argument stands. Superman
No,
kills Zod in both versions. He just does it laughing and smiling in the original.
yeah, and I don't think this one like the Man of Steel I think was a little more realistic with the Superman
Yeah.
story because I guess I think wasn't like Christopher Nolan and like wasn't he part of this movie?
Yeah, I think he co-wrote it or something.
Yeah, I know he did something with this movie because he was like Christopher Nolan was like supposed to have like his realistic series kind of like with
Like the Dark Knight trilogy.
yeah, Dark Knight series had a very realistic portrayal, more like not really Batman, but like Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they kind of wanted to do it with Man of Steel, and I remember being like more realistic.
Yeah, it's definitely more realistic. And that's the one thing we'll talk about with the Snyder Cut because after Man of Steel, the violence ramps up.
Yeah.
Both Batman versus Superman extended cut and Snyder cut are hard R
Yeah.
ratings. And some people asked him, why are your superhero movies R? Because most are PG-13. And his response was that he felt that actually having violence that has no repercussions is more damaging for audiences, he felt, because if you have movies where people are just going around beating people up and just doing constantly violent acts, but they're played off as having no repercussions or just for fun,
Yeah.
then you're more likely to promote violence. Whereas if you have bloody violence that people die, it shows that there's actually like repercussions, and it
Yeah.
also shows how powerful these beings actually are from like a realistic standpoint.
Yeah.
You are an ordinary guy and you get punched by somebody with the power of Wonder Woman or Superman or something, you're basically gonna be a splatter on the wall afterwards.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's realistically what's gonna happen. So like that's what he does with his. And one thing I really like about the Snyderverse is because it is so different from the MCU.
Yeah, that's one of the good thing about DC and Marvel, at least when Snyder was making movies,
Mm-hmm.
was they're a lot different, and that's the differentiation. It's more darker, grittier is your DC,
Right.
and then Marvel's more your happy, like, I don't know, campy. I guess really say
Yeah,
campy,
a
but
little bit. I mean, Marvel
yeah,
goes into some seriously dark territory too, but they do it in a different way.
yeah, it's more like you have your jokes, you have your Marvel formula, I guess. You have your jokes sprinkled
Right.
in there, and like,
Yeah, which is fun. I like both, but
yeah,
I think it's better that DC has its own feel.
yeah,
Because otherwise it's the same thing as Marvel, just with a costume swap.
yeah, exactly,
This is the same character, he's just wearing a different costume.
yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, I definitely like the changes that happen with Zack Snyder's DC stuff. So I can't really say anything more about Man of Steel. So I guess we'll talk about the second film in the trilogy. Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. So
Yes.
this one is far more divisive than Man of Steel,
Yeah.
with most audiences. I also like Batman versus Superman, but obviously not as much as Man of Steel.
Yeah, I do agree with that one. I remember Batman versus Superman not being the greatest.
Yeah, I like it. I do like it though, but it's got some problems. My
Yeah.
problem with it is the fact that Zack Snyder doesn't seem to know what to do with ancillary characters.
Hmm.
So, like the problem I had with that was he has side characters that are like generally, if not fan favorites, or at least known characters. So you have like Jimmy Olsen.
Doesn't he get like blown away if I remember correctly?
Yeah,
He
Jimmy
like
Olsen
dies.
is like random. He's a photographer who's like randomly a CIA agent, and he's in the movie for like a minute and gets shot in the head.
Yeah, it's like eat that, Jimmy Olsen.
Gets executed like in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And, which is ridiculous because Jimmy Olsen is like a massive character in the comics, like has been from day one. So like that was a bit much. And then Mercy Graves also is like a fan favorite character from, I guess, one of the animated series or something, and she is Lex Luthor's assistant that he just blows up in that with that Senate chamber explosion.
Oh.
It's like he just kills her. Like, okay, he barely has any. I don't even know if she has a speaking line. I can't remember.
Probably not.
So it's like you're taking characters that people like, and then you're just like brutally killing them for no reason. Like that was one of my big problems with Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Another one is Lex Luthor. Like,
Yeah, I still can't get over Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is just like
he's too weird. Like
a madman.
right, yeah, his portrayal would have fit like perhaps the Riddler or Joker or something better than Lex. Like I don't know what they
Given Jolly Ranchers and
yeah, and his weird
grandma's peach
mannerisms and
tea or whatever that thing was.
Granny's peach tea, a jar of piss. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
It's like they wanted to put like Joker in there, but they couldn't. So they put Lex Luthor, and it didn't make any sense.
Better Joker than the guy they have as a Joker in this universe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's very bizarre. And then the Doomsday thing. A lot of people.
Yeah, they just wasted Doomsday like really badly.
They do kind of explain it in interviews and stuff, and in the movie it's also explained that this isn't really Doomsday. It's this abomination that Lex Luthor puts together like at the last minute, and he just calls it Doomsday.
Oh, okay.
Because it warns him, the poor Krypton automated system or whatever. Like, I almost feel bad for it, even though it's just an automated computer. Because every movie, somebody comes in there and does something in that ambiotic chamber, and it's constantly like, "This is a terrible idea. Please don't do this." And then
it's like override it.
It's like, shut up. It's like, shut up, Wesley. Like, literally,
pretty much.
Shut up, computer. Because he does that Doomsday thing, and he's like, and the computer warns him because it says that this procedure has been banned by the Council of Krypton. Which implies that it's been done before.
Yeah.
So the reason why it's been banned is because of the real Doomsday. So
yeah.
Somewhere, and Zack Snyder said this in an interview as well, that the real Doomsday is still out there somewhere. So,
probably like the Phantom Zone or something.
Yeah, probably. So this Doomsday is actually not really Doomsday. It's just using the same tech, the same idea. Except for it's only been done once. So like if you know the Doomsday story, the guy who created Doomsday like kept killing it and then bringing it back again, and each time it would be more powerful or whatever. So he went through basically like tortured some being for hundreds of experimentations, whereas this one was just like one cycle.
Yeah.
So it would have been like a very early prototype phase of Doomsday.
Like an easy Doomsday to beat up.
So it's like, that's why it looks like a cave troll and stuff, but it's not really Doomsday because it's like a way early phase of Doomsday.
Yeah.
A lot of this crap Snyder clears up later on, because he also cleared up stuff about Man of Steel, because apparently Feor and all the Kryptonians are still alive in the Phantom Zone. Like, they didn't actually die. So,
okay. So you can bring those characters back if you wanted to.
Yeah, which I would like to see, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The same with Doomsday. It'd be cool to see like a real Doomsday down the line. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I do have to give this movie, Batman vs. Superman, is it introduces Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, which is a huge plus, in my opinion. It also gives us the Wonder Woman theme, which is like the coolest theme in the whole series. So, yeah, I gotta give it points for that. And actually, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more down the line. So, for Batman versus Superman, you got any comments about that one?
I think we pretty much hit all the points because it was really, like I said, Batman versus Superman. I thought, at least out of all the Zack Snyder movies, that's probably like the weakest, I would think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is Beavis.
Yeah, Beavis.
Yeah, it's Beavis compared to that one.
Beavis. So, what would your rating be for Beavis?
Beavis, I'd probably give more like a 5.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like good, I guess you can say. It wasn't like the best movie, but it wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was just kind of a mess.
Yeah, for me, like I said, I tend to skew towards liking these ones, but for me, I think it'd be like a 7.
Yeah.
So probably a 6 between a combined score. Be a 6, I guess. But yeah, so you give it a 5, I give it a 7.
Yeah.
I think Wonder Woman in there is a huge plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely has some issues, and I definitely agree that it's the weakest of the 3. At least Snyder version.
And it goes like one of the point where, if I remember correctly, that movie had a lot of like plot points going on too, so it's really hard to focus on what were you doing. If I remember correctly,
it took me a real long time to figure out what they were getting at with frame Superman. Because there's a huge subplot about them framing Superman for the people in Africa, and it was like, for the longest time, I was like, did you think Superman just showed up and shot a bunch of people?
Yeah, I know. Like, he doesn't need guns.
Why would Superman be the one that killed these people?
Yeah, it's like, he doesn't need a gun for Superman.
What are you getting at? But that's not actually what they did. Like, they threw a bunch of bodies together and then burned them with a flamethrower, and they tried to say that it was, Superman did that with his heat vision or whatever.
It's like, come on.
And that it was not so much the actual incident that was the problem, but the repercussion for it that was the problem. Because Superman just came in, killed everybody, and saved Lois is what the story was. But then there was repercussions where the terrorist organization just like killed a bunch of like villagers and stuff because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they were getting at. But yeah, for a long time, I didn't understand what the hell they were talking about. And I don't think it actually explains it properly in the original cut. Like, you have to have the extended cut to figure out what's actually going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one's
the extended cut like adds like 30 or an hour or something to the movie.
Yeah, it's like at least 30 minutes longer. So, and the Batman scene's really good too. Like the fight scene that looks like it's right out of the Arkham games.
Yeah.
That's another really cool moment. It also gives
bleed?
us bleed. Yeah, it's also gives us the Batfleck too, which
yeah, that was a pretty good choice too. I thought Bruce Wayne or like Batman as Ben Affleck was not too bad. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about the characters when we get into the Snyder cut or whatever. But yeah, that I definitely have some stuff to say about Ben Affleck's Batman. But yeah, it's overall, I mean, I think it's a good movie, but it's definitely the weakest.
Yeah.
So I guess our Beavis rating will be a 6.
Yeah, around a 6 or so.
And so we're going to follow up Beavis. We need to talk about Butthead. The Joss Whedon cut of Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought I was going to hate this more than I actually did on the rewatch.
Yeah.
But the majority of the stuff that I like about the Whedon cut is from the Snyder cuts.
Yeah, I know.
So it's
you can see where all the Snyder cut was like there, and then they just change everything. And it's like
they change the context.
Yeah, the context is much better.
The score sucks. Like the music is terrible. And that's a big change. Like, even scenes that are completely unaltered, the music changes the tone.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of dialogue moments are different between the two. The one thing I did like was there's a lot more Bruce Wayne and Alfred like interactions in the Joss Whedon one.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is legitimately funny, which is a weird comment to make because it's like Batman shouldn't really be your comedic relief, but
no, yeah, especially Batman.
Some reason he is.
Yeah.
I guess it just makes sense to make Batman the point of view character because he's the one that's most relatable in this situation because he's the guy that doesn't have superpowers or anything.
Yeah, his superpower is being rich.
Right, which they say, but that was actually part of the Snyder.
Yeah, that was a Snyder version too. It's like, okay.
Some of the best lines, even the dialogue, some of the best stuff from the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Aquaman has some funny lines. Like, Aquaman's like the skeptic of the group, even more so in the Joss Whedon one.
Yeah.
He's just like, doesn't buy any of this shit. But some things are interesting how different they are because when Batman suggests resurrecting Superman, like, Wonder Woman is like violently opposed to the idea in the Joss Whedon one, whereas I think she was supporting it in the Snyder cut.
Yeah, she was kind of like, oh yeah, that's our only option. So like, what's really our only option?
Because Aquaman's like, you're nuts. Like, in both versions, he's against resurrecting Superman, but it's like Wonder Woman's a complete 180 depending on which version you're watching.
Yeah.
Which
is kind of weird.
Yeah, which was weird because she's like really opposed to it in the Whedon one. It was like, but she was one of the ones that was for it in Snyder cut. Making Steppenwolf the sole villain is a little strange.
Yeah, Steppenwolf is like, it makes sense that he has Doomsday there. Like, he's like fighting for him. And actually, Steppenwolf actually had a backstory too in the Snyder cut compared to the Whedon cut.
He doesn't have a backstory in the Whedon version other than he is Darkseid, basically.
Yeah, he's like the Darkseid, and he looks like Dobby the
Whedon one. He's like the big bad. There isn't really anybody above him.
Yeah.
Like, they have that ancient battle with the gods and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot shorter in the Whedon cut, but it's Steppenwolf that they're fighting, not Darkseid.
Yeah, because like in this one, he's like in the Snyder cut, he's kind of like he's apparently like exiled from Darkseid or something because he screwed up.
Right. Yeah,
And that's kind of his like punishment is to go to these planets.
that was I thought that was interesting. But
yeah, it's like okay, there's some motivation at least to see why he wants to do this.
Right. Yeah, that was good. His physical design is weird in the Whedon. I don't know why they made him look the way they did. He looks like I joke about this all the time, but he really does look like Dobby from Harry Potter.
Yeah, he probably is.
Like his face, like he looks like Dobby the house elf.
Yeah,
and it makes him so much less intimidating.
Yeah.
So it's like, what were you thinking? And then they changed his voice. He just sounds like a regular guy. And
yeah,
it's just very strange. I don't know why they decided to do that. And of course, they cut a lot of the violence out.
Yeah, that's definitely a studio involvement thing there.
Yeah, there's a lot less parademon death.
Yeah,
Joss Whedon, because the parademons are getting like eviscerated in the Zack Snyder cut, but that's like almost eliminated completely from the other one.
Yeah.
So I guess they don't like bug violence. There's more dumb, cringy Barry Allen nonsense.
Yeah, Flash is still in both versions. I still remember being cringy in the first version. It's still cringy in the second Snyder cut too.
In the Snyder cut too, but he's like more pointless in the Whedon one.
Yeah,
he actually plays like a major role in the Snyder cut, but in the Whedon one, he doesn't do anything. Like, because that whole end battle sequence, he's like one of the major players in the Snyder cut because he's like running around charging up the energy they need to rip the mother boxes apart. In the Whedon one, he's not doing that. He's not doing anything. Like,
he's playing that family or whatever. He's like
that nonsense. Yeah, we need to talk
about who that family was.
Where the crap that stuff was with the Russian family that like bogs everything down. There's like 20 minutes of footage about this random Russian family that's not even at all in the Snyder cut.
Yeah, it doesn't even like the family has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, it's just there. It's like okay.
Like, I don't know if it was like a joke or something. I don't know what it was.
What that was about. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, there's a scene where the girl goes into the cupboard and pulls out like a can of bug spray or something.
I don't know if those
parademons, which that's definitely supposed to be a joke. And they do call them bugs, and I know I just called them a bug like not that long ago, but they're not. They're actually not bugs. They're that were praying. They're like demons or something. Literally, they're called parademons. But they were humans that were transformed into that, which they do explain in the ancient battle sequence.
Yeah.
But they got that. Steppenwolf is bizarre in the Whedon cut. He talks about the mother boxes like almost like a sexual way. Talking about. He's just got
talking about.
He's just got like a hard on for these boxes the entire movie. It's like a little strange. And speaking of that, there's a lot of weird sequences of like not hyper sexualizing, but there is a certain degree of sexualizing of like Wonder Woman and other female characters.
Yeah, that's definitely a Whedon thing.
Definitely a Whedon thing. So because there's like weird lines of dialogue where like Barry Allen's constantly like awkwardly hitting on Wonder Woman, but doing it poorly, which is kind of his character trait. He does everything poorly.
Yeah.
But then there's another line with Aquaman, and for some reason he has to point out about how gorgeous Wonder Woman is for no reason. And it's like, I mean, he's not wrong, but
yeah,
it doesn't add anything to the sequence. And then of course you have that infamous scene where Barry Allen ends up like laying on top of Wonder Woman for like a moment.
Yeah.
which was not in the Snyder cut, and actually Gal Gadot refused to do the scene, so they ended up doing it with like her body double or something. So
Yeah.
a lot of weird behind the scenes drama with Joss Whedon, and then the big one we need to talk about before we move on is Ray Fisher got sidelined hard.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, especially when you watch the Snyder cut. He's like a central figure in the movie.
Yeah.
They literally cut everything out from him.
Yeah, his whole backstory, like he's probably 80% of his character is cut in the Whedon.
Yeah. And it's the Snyder cut. If you took Cyborg out of the Snyder cut, there would be no movie. Because you needed Cyborg. Like you literally needed Cyborg.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if there's one character that movie's about, it's him.
Yeah. It's the Cyborg movie is what the Snyder cut was.
Basically. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's mostly a mess, but it does have some redeeming features, most of them being Zack Snyder's footage.
And actually this goes back to that point with Snyder and the Whedon and how like Flash really didn't have anything. Flash was a central point in this movie too in the Snyder cut.
Yeah, there's
the two characters they cut out.
Yeah, there's a lot more Flash stuff. The Flash material's almost the same percentage-wise. It's just they fill it with stupid stuff in the version. Whereas in the case of Ray Fisher's Cyborg, they don't replace it with anything. He's just limited.
Yeah, he just literally just cut out of the movie. No wonder he was like mad at Warner Brothers.
Barry Allen's more or less the same percentage of screen time, but they fill actual meaningful moments.
Yeah, he has a point in being there.
Yeah, they just replace that with total nonsense.
Yeah.
So so before we move on to the big finale here, what's your rating for Justice League?
I haven't seen the Justice League in a while. Well, after watching the Snyder cut, I'd probably give it more like I'd probably get it probably like a 6 maybe.
Yeah,
it's a little bit above Beavis, but
that's
not like great.
Right. Yeah. For me, it's below Beavis, but also a 6 because I gave Beavis a 7. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. So in my case, I guess we're giving that one a 6. We have a consensus on one.
Yeah, that one.
But that for me, that one is the lowest of all 4, I guess, even though one of them's the same movie. But as you'll see when we get to that one, there's a massive difference.
Yeah.
So Justice League is a 6. It does have some enjoyable moments, but overall it's not so much that it's a terrible movie, that it is a massively missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And so now we'll talk about the rare occurrence. The reason why a Snyder cut is such a big deal is that this may be the only time in history that this has ever happened where you've had a movie come out and then there's this massive debacle behind the scenes, and then years down the line it gets fixed.
Yeah.
You get to see the real version. Like I can't think of any other time that's happened.
Yeah, I don't think that really happens very much, if at all.
Yeah. So, because you can't even compare this to, like, I guess the closest thing you can compare this to is like special editions or something, like a Lucas thing, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But even then, you can't compare it because Lucas just added a bunch of stuff to his own movies. He wasn't like the studio didn't destroy his movie, and then years down the line, he had to replace.
Yeah, it's still like the same movie. It's not like it's really changed.
No,
like this one is definitely changed. Like it was a lot different.
Yeah, completely different movie. All right, so now we get to talk about, I guess we'll talk about the Snyder cuts. Is before we talk about the movie, because we can talk about our characters, because we did talk a little bit. So, which is your favorite Justice League member, I guess?
In the movie or like generally?
Well, I guess both. You could do.
Okay, yeah. Generally, it's Batman. It's always just because Batman. Because Batman's like one of my favorite character, like comic book characters.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, I'd say probably Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of one thing is interesting about us. We do have a lot of times we have the same opinion, but we do
Yeah.
have different opinion on superheroes for I guess for this franchise. So for
Yeah.
me, my favorite character is well, I say that, but then my favorite character is Wonder Woman, so it's
Yeah.
not too much different. But my favorite character in the Snyder verse is definitely Wonder Woman. I think Gal Gadot is
Yeah.
absolutely perfectly cast.
Especially in this movie, she's really good in this one,
She's really good.
acting wise.
She's great in both versions, but she's
Hmm.
really good in the Snyder cut. And I think her character is just really well done. Casting was flawless.
Yeah, it was really
That's,
good.
that's a Zack Snyder thing. He's the one that got her in as Wonder Woman. The funny thing is that she was supposed to actually be Feora in Man of Steel,
Oh,
which she could have done that. That would have been cool, but it would have been a missed opportunity for Wonder Woman. I don't know who they would have got for Wonder Woman if that
yeah, that would have been. I
would
don't
have
know
been
who
a
they would have
one-off,
picked.
but she would have been good. But then
Yeah.
Antia Trawa is really good as well as Feora. So I'm glad they went the way they did. But yeah, she was actually supposed to do it, but she was pregnant at the time. So they gave it to somebody else. And then
Mhm.
she ended up being Wonder Woman like a couple years later. So she definitely won out on that deal because it would have been
Yeah.
a one-off character versus the basically the face of the franchise going forward because she's like
Yeah, pretty much.
the her and Aquaman are like the only two that are continuing no matter what. So yeah, Wonder Woman's great. My favorite, besides one, I really like Superman in these movies.
Yeah, Superman's pretty good.
I think Henry Cavill's really good. Batman, I've always had I like Batman, but not nearly as much as you do.
Yeah.
Like Batman's probably the one I don't care about as much. He's not my least favorite, but he's kind of mid
Yeah.
for me, which is controversial because I know there's so many people that love Batman. But I have the same opinion with Marvel. Like I could care less about Tony Stark, and that's like everybody's favorite character too.
Yeah.
It's like I like Wonder Woman because I like the character in the Snyderverse, but then I also like all the mythology stuff around the
Yeah.
That's why Thor's my favorite Marvel character because I like all the Norse mythology. Well, Wonder Woman, you get the Greek mythology. So
Hmm.
that's why I like her character. And then my close second is Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yeah,
But
so seeing Cavill Superman's always good to see that again.
yeah, I think he's really good. And the next, I think after Cavill, it's probably Batman in these Snyderverse things. But I will say that even though I was hesitant about Ben Affleck, like a lot of people were,
Yeah.
I gotta say he's actually my favorite on-screen Batman. Like,
Yeah, he's really good.
I think he did a really good job. I like him. He's my favorite Batman in movies, and I think Jeremy Irons is probably my favorite Alfred. Even though I really like Michael Caine, but I think Jeremy Irons and the playoff between Jeremy Irons and Ben Affleck is really good.
Hmm.
So I think they have really good chemistry, like bouncing back and forth. Like their banter is really good. And
Yeah.
one thing is surprised. Well, I mean, it's not super surprising, but it was interesting to see the combination of Alfred and Wonder Woman. I thought was kind of entertaining too. How she just kind of moves into the Batcave and
Yeah.
just has all these interactions with her. Like the Snyder, I think it was the Snyder cut was the one that had the tea scene that was kind of fun.
Yeah, he was like, you got to do this and mash it.
Like,
He's like,
fixing all of her stuff. And she's just like, I just want to make tea.
you got to mash it and see
Yeah,
it
you
in it.
know all these elaborate steps in making tea. But he's really actually Alfred is a major character in the Snyder cut as well because he designs that like energy absorbing gauntlet that saves Batman's life like repeatedly.
Yeah.
And it's not even a thing in the Whedon cut. Like that
No, I don't think.
the gauntlet thing doesn't even exist in the Whedon version.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of like there. He's just like a butler.
Yeah, he doesn't do that
Perfectly.
much. I mean, there's some funny dialogue between them, but he doesn't really do all that much. Whereas
Yeah.
in the Snyder cut, he designs like apparently he personally designs Bruce Wayne's tech, which is interesting. So
Well, I think that's actually happened in some of the comics
oh
where
yeah.
Alfred, like, he's like, that's more like a comic thing,
Mhm.
which at least it's more, at least more going into the comics, I guess, instead of some of them are like, oh yeah,
Right. Yeah, because the Christopher Nolan one, that was kind of Fox that did the tech, like Lucius.
yeah,
So in this universe, he's kind of like in the Nolan verse, Jeremy Irons Alfred is kind of the combination of Fox and Alfred.
yeah. He's kind of like both, which that's like being true to the comics at least. So
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I really like that. I like all the Bat verse stuff in
Mhm.
the Snyder cut. So the characters I really I don't care for Barry Allen.
No, yeah, that's probably my weakest out of all of them. Barry Allen's the weakest. He's like, Flash sucks.
Yeah, I just don't like him. Like he does have some funny moments, but they're mostly funny because of the interactions of the other characters,
Yeah,
primarily Batman. But yeah, because he'll say some real stupid crap, and then Batman will say some sarcastic comment back, and that's what saves the scene.
yeah,
But yeah, overall, I don't like him. I'm just
yeah.
not a
Flash is.
Miller fan.
I don't know if it's because of the actor or just the dialogue, or I don't know if they don't know. It's just kind of like I don't know. I don't really like the Flash very much.
Combination of all of it, I think it just comes off poorly. Although he does have some funny facial expressions, like this meme.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
His eyes are very memeable.
Yes.
But yeah, other than that, Cyborg's really good, especially in the Snyder cut.
Yeah, Cyborg is really good. They did a good job with Cyborg. It's kind of ridiculous, like he looks, but he is actually pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, it was a really good job. And then talking about the villains, obviously Snyder cut is miles ahead of the other one because it has more than one villain.
Yeah.
And they all make sense because not only do we get Steppenwolf, but some of the stuff that's Steppenwolf in the Whedon version is actually Darkseid in the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
And we also get the Sod as well and some other ones. But yeah, Steppenwolf design is way better.
Yeah, I like his armor. He has actually also has armor.
His armor's super cool in the Snyder cut. The way it like constantly is like reconfiguring and like shifting.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. I like his like character design too. Like he just looks cool. Like
Yeah, he looks better. He looks a lot better.
his whatever species of alien he is way cooler than Giant and Dobby.
Yeah.
Because he actually looks like an alien. Like the weird shape of his helmet is because his head's shaped like that. It's like a crazy crest that he's got on his head. And then I liked his hands. Like that was something weird detail that I noticed when I was watching it. Is he's got like 7 fingers or something like that, and like they're very weird alien looking hand. Kind of looks like that Chitauri, I guess, in Marvel, but yeah, like a very strange looking hand. Whereas he just has a human hand in the Whedon version.
Oh, does he just have human?
Yeah, because that one
can't be too alien.
In one scene where Superman like does Ultra Instinct at the end, and he punches at him, and he like dodges the punch. In the original one, it's actually a punch. It's like just a human fist coming at him. And then the Snyder cut, he does like a claw swipe, and you get
he's trying to slice him
in slow mo. Like you get to see his cool hand with like all the extra fingers hanging off the side and stuff. This is pretty neat. Gives him a very alien look. But then the one thing that I thought was really funny is his eyes, because Steppenwolf's eyes, the weird alien one, has such expressive eyes.
Yeah,
that it's like you get emotion out of him when he's a weird alien compared to when he actually has kind of human looking design and he does like void of emotion.
Yes,
it's very weird. But yeah, I really like what they did with his character in the Snyder cut, because his eyes are so expressive.
Yeah,
like you can see the fear in his eyes whenever he's talking to like the Sod and Darkseid and stuff.
Yeah,
like he's just like, his character is much more sympathetic because he's a guy who's obviously screwed up and he's trying to right his wrong.
Yeah, he's trying to get back into like good graces, and there's like you still have 50,000 or 15,000 worlds to conquer. It's like
worlds to conquer, and then you're
basically never gonna
you
be
get the
coming back.
facial expression I was just talking about with the
Yeah,
guy in wide eyes, where he's just like, "I'm fucked."
he's like, I want to talk to Darkseid. No,
Yeah,
I'll talk to Darkseid. You can just stay here.
that part's funny too in the Snyder cut where they're talking about. Well, it's not funny, but it's like it's kind of funny. But he tells them about the mother boxes and that the anti-life equation is on Earth, and he's talking to Desaad, and then Desaad basically puts him on hold, and then Darkseid.
Yeah, Darkseid shows up.
It's just like, oh, wait 1 minute. That was cool too. The way they do the transmissions, like
that whatever that like liquid metal stuff is. I don't know what that is, but
he talks to him through Geode.
yeah, Geode pretty much.
Geode makes a cameo appearance in the Snyder Cut. They're all the little stuff. Again, like we said with at the very beginning of this incredibly long, rambling review, we talked about how Snyder has cool world building.
Yeah.
A lot of that is in the Snyder Cut. Lots of cool little alien the way he develops his alien designs and like tech and all that stuff is like super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of little details like that. And then the overall storyline, of course, the plot is close to the same between the two because it is the same movie, no matter how you dress them up, it's still the same movie. So the plot isn't going to be all that drastically different, but all the little details really flesh it out.
Yeah.
And then one of the other strange characters is Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, he made an appearance actually twice, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he talks to Lois that one time because he I guess transformed into Martha.
Martha, yeah.
And then he talks to Batman at the very end.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about the infamous Martha, but I think that's death, so we really have to say
that's been done to death, so
we're not gonna say anything anybody else has. But the Martian Manhunter is kind of cool, and it also is neat because it's a character that's been there from the start, because that's that general that's been there from Man of Steel all along. He was the Martian Manhunter, which was kind of surprising. I mean, I knew about it because they had spoiled it a long time ago, but that was the one problem with this movie, is that you knew exactly what was going to happen if you've been following the Snyder Cut, because Zack Snyder told us the entire plot of the movie long ago because he never thought it was going to happen. So
yeah,
we knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew what the ending was going to be to the fight with Steppenwolf like a year ago, and I was not disappointed because said I like my favorite character is Wonder Woman. I really like the warrior portrayal of Wonder Woman. So having her finish off Steppenwolf by decapitating him was like one of the coolest things.
Yeah.
But they totally like overkilled Steppenwolf at the end, because it's like Aquaman impales him with his trident and serves him up to Superman. Like spikes him, and then before he goes through the portal, Wonder Woman cuts his head off. Yeah, that was
his head goes to the Darkseid, and Darkseid just steps on it.
Darkseid just stomps his head. Yeah, that was brutal, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
Of course,
and obviously sets off for a second movie or another movie.
Oh yeah, because obviously Darkseid's coming personally.
Yeah, his like, we'll do this the old way.
Yeah, like physically come with his ships and stuff instead of the portal. Of course, we get Black Suit Superman, which is something.
Black Suit Superman's always good.
Even though it's not really Black Suit, I mean, it's literally just a palette swap.
Palette swap Superman.
It's not like it was in the comics where the black suit like does something, because the black suit's like a regenerative suit, and that's why he wears it. But it's literally just his regular costume, but it's black.
I know he flew up into space that one day to get sun rays and stuff, so maybe that's supposed to be sun. It's like trying to get absorbed from all the sun rays with his black suit. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's.
He doesn't change. He doesn't change to his other suit though, because like at the end he was just like, when he took his shirt, like he ripped open his shirt, it was still a black suit.
He's just permanently gonna be Black Suit Superman from now on. Maybe in part 2, if we get a part 2, maybe he'll grow the beard and the mullet.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we need. Beard and mullet Superman.
He did have a beard in Man of Steel briefly before he was
Yeah.
man, when he was just like
Before Josh Whedon took over and said you can't have a beard.
can't have mustache. Stash Gate is still ridiculous. Like it's so jarring. The very first scene of the Joss Whedon cut where it's like that weird CGI faced Henry Cavill talking to a bunch of random kids that are like asking if he's ever fought a hippo. Like,
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I know.
If they ask him what his favorite thing about Earth is or whatever, and he can't even come up with an answer.
See ya.
But yeah, that whole shit messed up. But like I said, the Justice League's actually not as bad as people say it is, but then comparing it to this,
Yeah.
like it's a disaster.
I still think it's so crazy that how different the two movies are.
Yeah, it's
Like,
ridiculous.
they basically took one movie and then just cut everything up and just refilled it with some other stuff. It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it's real stupid. Like this is the perfect example of studio and like meddling.
Yeah, way meddling, like really badly meddling.
Right. So I guess we talked about all the stuff we liked about the Snyder Cut. There are a couple things I don't like. Mostly minor stuff though. The only thing I don't like is I think this is a long movie.
Yeah, that's the length is the big part. I had to watch it in 2 sittings.
Yeah, it's a very long movie, and I don't think all of that was necessary. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Like-
I would have kept everything, but I would have definitely shortened the random music videos. that
Yeah, at
pop
the very beginning.
every like 15 minutes it turns into a music video.
It kind of reminded me of Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
They almost did the exact same thing with like they had to try to introduce all the characters, but they had like made a music video with it.
Yeah, he does like a music video in each introduction, but the problem is, I mean, that's okay, that's fine, I guess, but you don't have to play the entire song.
Yeah, I know.
Like, we didn't necessarily, I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person out there that didn't think we needed a 10-minute Icelandic serenade for Aquaman, like
Yeah,
where that
going into the water.
smell in his sweater or whatever.
Yeah,
That was a little weird. Speaking of that, Joss Whedon also has that really weird line of dialogue with Lois and Superman, where like the first thing she says to him is "You smell good,"
yeah, I know.
whereas in the Snyder cut, she's like, "You spoke," because he hadn't said a line of dialogue yet since he came back to life.
Yeah,
So, but Snyder or the Whedon version, he's got to make it weird.
yeah. Like, why did you say? Why did you say that? It doesn't make any sense.
Although it changes the tone of the scene though, because he's like, "Did I not before?" in both situations.
Yeah, I say like, did I not before?
It's like you spoke, and he's like, "Did I not before?" And it was like, and that's a little bit funny, but it's not quite as funny as the other one, where it's like, "You smell good," and he's like,
You
"Did
smell
I
good."
not before?" So it's like he changes. That's an example of it where it changes the tone. Of
Yeah.
the film. Like it makes it. He's constantly trying to make things more comical. They also make the Aquaman line more comical at the beginning when he's in Iceland, because he says that thing about the strong man, strongest alone, or whatever. And in the Snyder cut, like that's actually the line.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Whedon version, they make fun of that. So because he's like that, Batman's like, that's not a saying. That's the opposite of the saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you could have cut the Icelandic serenade out. I understand why that scene's in there though, because it's like they're like basically venerating him as a god or something. But
Yeah.
what scenes that shouldn't be in there is we didn't need Barry Allen saving a hot dog for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was kind of like, ugh.
That it gets into cringe territory.
Yeah, every time Barry Allen shows up, it's
Well, that's true too, but I mean like the 15-minute long music video montages.
Yeah,
Like
and
that
he
stuff.
steals a hot dog.
Yeah, and then he just sacrifices it to the dogs immediately after.
Yeah,
Slight nitpick: nobody in the DC universe watches where they're driving.
yeah, I know. The guy's like eating a burger or something. He's like trying to grab it. And he's like,
And then
okay.
Iris is looking at Barry the entire time she's driving.
Yeah.
Why she hits the truck, and then Cyborg's mom also wasn't looking at the road when she got hit.
Yeah, got hit by this like side swiped.
So like 3 for 3, everybody who's driving a vehicle is not watching the road.
Yeah.
And they all end up in car accidents. So I guess it's a moral. So
Yes. It's like watch the road.
Watch the road. The moral of Justice League is watch the road.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other thing, this is a weird thing to say, I guess, but the other thing I thought should have been removed was the scene that Zack Snyder added specifically for this movie, which was the nightmare sequence at the end.
Yeah, that one's. I don't know what the point of that was. It was like, okay.
Because Joker wasn't in the original cut at all.
Yeah.
So that was the 5 minutes of footage that he added in the reshoots like 2 months ago.
That's so weird.
It's very weird. It's borderline like passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Because it's setting up a sequel that, as far as it stands at the time, was never going to happen.
Yeah.
And Zack Snyder's gone on record basically stating that he's done with the DC universe. Like, he's not coming back. So why would you add a weird cliffhanger to the movie? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's basically just taking a pot shot at Warner Brothers and being
with Joker being like Joker and Batman working together.
Right. Yeah, you're setting up this future film that's likely never going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like, why did you do that? Like, you should have just ended it with Darkseid saying that he's going to invade or whatever, and then wrap up everybody's do like a little epilogue. You don't need a literal epilogue like the movie has, but just a little thing. End the movie with Darkseid threatening to invade the planet, and then he walks off and the portal closes, and then have a short moment, maybe a couple minutes, where you wrap up all the characters' storylines or whatever, like what they did after, and then that's it.
And you have, like, they kept the scene where Lex Luthor is like, we have a Bruce Wayne problem, whatever, like, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, they kept that. That was the post-credit scene in the original Justice League, and that was actually part of the movie in this Justice League.
Yeah, he's like, I got something to tell you, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I got a secret, Bruce Wayne. And then you should have ended, well, they did end it with the Martian Manhunter scene. I think that would have been a good place to end it anyway. But you didn't need to have the nightmare scene because that's not even a thing. It's a dream that Bruce Wayne has.
Batman has, and because he talked about this before in the future. He's like, I've had a dream where Lois Lane's the key or something.
Yes, but you kind of already established that Lois Lane was the key because she's the one that stopped Superman's rampage.
Yeah. So
you don't need to keep that open because what that scene does is it leaves that open. The whole, like, is Superman good, Superman bad, what's going on? That's open-ended again.
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost leaving more as to, like, so the Superman problem hasn't been resolved.
No, because I know they did it earlier with when Cyborg's with the ship. He even sees a vision.
Yeah, it keeps constantly warning him that Superman is going to, like, destroy the world, kind of thing.
Yeah, because of Lois Lane, because it shows Lois Lane dead.
Yeah,
in his hands, and he's like, Darkseid's there. Is like, you are now Superman. Like, you are now my warrior or something.
right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's that other scene we were talking about earlier, but it's that other scene of the computer system on the Kryptonian ship being like, you sure you want to do this?
The mother box is not something we work messing with.
That was kind of funny too, where he gets that vision and he's like, no, and then Barry's like, go.
He's like, go.
So
and then he just goes anyways.
He does it anyway. But yeah, there's so much to unpack with the Snyder cut because it is a 4-hour movie. But
I guess it did show that flash scene where he's like going back into time or whatever. It's like time travel. That is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of the end of the fight's basically.
Yeah, because they lose, and then he's like,
"Yeah,
I need to go faster because he got shot."
Yeah, that was interesting too. That didn't happen in the original.
Yeah, he's like, I need to go back in time. So he heals his own wound by going back into time.
Yeah, well, actually, his wound heals before he goes back in time. He had to wait until the wound healed before he could do the run. That's why he's.
Oh, okay.
because he's
I
like,
thought he did it because he went back in it. Like, he
well,
was
no,
going back
because
in
it
Man of
happens right
Steel.
before it. Because that's why he's standing there not doing anything, and he's like, "Come on, Barry, heal!" Like
Yeah.
he can't run because he's got this gut wound.
Yeah, got shot in the stomach.
So that actually made me feel a little bit for Barry though, because he does have a lot of integrity. Like he basically walks it off because he's like he's basically a kid, and
Yeah.
he gets shot in the gut by like a plasma shot, and he's like basically downplaying it because he doesn't want
Yeah, it's like, oh, I need a second.
like, oh, I'm just winded or whatever. And then it pans down and he has like an actual gut wound.
Yeah.
So yeah, that actually did make me have more respect for the character. So
He's like, we need to go back in a time faster and speed of light.
yes, but they do kind of do like a Resurrection F moment if you're Dragon Ball fans out there, where they basically destroyed the planet and then they did a do-over.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I could go back in time.
Yeah, so it's like when Frieza blew up the Earth and then we set the clock back, and then Goku just immediately blew up Frieza. That's
Yeah.
basically what happened at the end of this movie. It's like the whole world got destroyed, and then Barry turned back the clock like 5 minutes, and then everybody just beat the crap out of Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, I mean, if he hadn't done that, like Superman died, came back to life, and then died again, like
Yeah, pretty much. He just died again.
he got like disintegrated.
Hey, everyone got disintegrated in that little section.
Yeah. So that was
Like how it goes back in time, all you see is like there's bones and stuff like
yeah, that was
forming again.
yeah, that was another cool like visual. Lots of really cool visuals.
Yeah.
The only thing with Zack Snyder is he does go overboard on the slow mo.
Yeah.
Slow mo is
That
good.
whole scene was also slow.
Well, the action, that stuff's good. This action, I don't have a problem with the slow mo. It's when you do slow mo when like stupid shit's happening, and then it's like,
Yeah.
why are we doing this? But yeah, aside from that, that's my only real complaints with the movie. Is I don't think that nightmare scene should be in there because it gives people like weird expectations, which
Yeah,
I think, strangely enough, is the reason why it's in there, because it's
probably
getting fans to demand the sequel. It's kind of like
probably
sly
a sequel that's never gonna happen.
sly way to sneak that in there. Yeah, just trim your music video moments, man. Like
Yeah, he could probably cut it probably about like at least 30 minutes off.
yeah, it should have been like 3.5 hours or so.
Yeah.
But overall, pretty good. So I guess we'll finish this up. What was your rating for Snyderverse?
I'm giving that an 8.
8?
I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. 8 or 9 for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So mine would be like 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it's like kind of up the scale.
Yeah, it goes up the scale. Yeah, I think we pretty much agree on the ranking, except for Justice League and the regular Justice League and Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Because I think you said Beavis was your lowest.
Yeah, Beavis was my lowest.
Yeah, so my lowest is Justice League, then Beavis, then this, then Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So yeah, more pretty close ranking, but and then overall, I guess for your overall rankings for all the DCEU, I think just to give a measure here, I guess our lowest ranked one, I think for both of us, I think I can speak for us here, is Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, that one was bad.
I think I gave that a 4 and you gave it a 3 or something.
Yeah.
That was bad. Snyder Cut, definitely recommend. So like 8, 9, or 10. So
Yes, that's a good one. That one, if you have HBO Max.
yeah, if you have HBO Max, I would definitely recommend watching it. If you don't have HBO Max and you have an interest, I would definitely recommend getting HBO Max at least for the month or something and giving it a watch, because if you put enough support into it, who knows? Like, I mean, this basically showed that fan movement does matter.
Yeah.
So
pretty
if
much
enough people go out there and subscribe to HBO Max, you might get Justice League 2 and 3, because originally it was planned for a 5-movie Snyderverse. So it was supposed to be Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and 3 Justice League movies. So we got 1.
Yeah.
So there's supposed to be 2 more planned, but who knows if those will happen. But they're not entirely impossible at this point.
No.
I would like to see a Man of Steel 2 if we got anything out of this.
Yeah, I do agree. Hopefully they do another Man of Steel because they really need to. They should continue on with that series because it's like at least the Snyderverse in some way. But I know Warner Brothers probably is like, we're not doing anything
Warner
else.
Brothers doesn't want to do it, but if there's enough support for it.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to see Man of Steel 2, and we are getting a Wonder Woman 3, but I want Zack Snyder to be more involved with Wonder Woman 3, because I think having Patty Jenkins in charge of everything was a mistake.
Yeah, especially characters.
I think she's good as a director. She's fine as a director, but I think Zack should be like an actual writer on Wonder Woman 3.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Because he wrote the first one, at least partially wrote the first one, and he had almost no involvement in the second one beyond producing. So
yeah,
if you get a good balance, I think Patty Jenkins and Zack Snyder working together would be a good balance for Wonder Woman 3. Because I want Wonder Woman 3 to be good, because like I said, she's my favorite DC character, so
yeah,
do it right.
yeah, pretty much.
No more Maxwell Lord wishes or any of that crap.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so I think that's gonna do it for us for Snyder Cut. This is an incredibly long and convoluted review.
Yes,
but I think we got a lot of good points there. So
yeah,
definitely check it out, and
yes.
we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye.